Hello, this is A Voice in the Darkness, and I'm your host, Gwendolyn Forte. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Whether you are at home or in your car or at the gym, or maybe you're in a hospital room, wherever you are today, I am so excited that you have joined this podcast on today. The purpose of A Voice in the Darkness is to encourage, to uplift, and to enlighten. My God, so many people today are walking through different circumstances that can be very overwhelming, that can cause a lot of discouragement and despair. And I want you to know that even if you're walking through this place, that you're not alone, that you will make it, that you will overcome, and that you are able to do this. And I know many can say, why are you so optimistic? Why do you always say that? Well, I'm glad that you asked. I myself have walked through so many difficult times in my life, and each time God used different people at different junctures to speak a word of encouragement to me. And it took one word. Sometimes it was a prayer, but sometimes somebody just said an encouraging word, and that thing broke off of me, and I began to see the light of day. And so I want you to know, if you're walking through a rough season, if you're walking through a time where you feel like you will not make it through this dark tunnel, I want to encourage you not to give up, not to give in, not to throw away the towel, because I'm telling you, you are able to do this. You are well equipped. You are stronger than you think. So I want to encourage you today. As you listen to this podcast, I want you to hear me, and I want you to understand that you're not alone, and that many people are rooting for you because you can do this. So I'm excited today about this week's podcast episode that is entitled Your Water Broke. Your Water Broke. And that title, I'm so excited about today's episode, because when we're talking about your water breaking, we hear that term. If you are out there and you have ever carried a baby, okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're a husband, or if you're a parent of a daughter who had a baby, and you had a baby, or you're a cousin, right, or a best friend, and you were there and you witnessed the pregnancy and you witnessed the delivery, you understand a little bit about what I'm talking about on today. Your water broke is what I'm going to be discussing. I believe each and every person that's tuning in today need to hear me. I believe that some of you, under the sound of my voice, are at a place in your life. You're at a place in your business career, in your ministry, in your family, in your marriage, just in your journey, where you've come to a precipice and you've come to a place like, what is going on? And something shifted, something broke, something is about to happen. It's like you've been carrying purpose. You've been carrying destiny. You've been pregnant. You've been feeling all that discomfort sometimes that comes with pregnancy, because you know that on the inside of you, there are some things that you're not seeing yet. And you're just like, oh, you're working that business, or you're working your ministry, or you're raising your children, or you're in your marriage, whatever it is, you're at your job, you're a CEO, you're an entrepreneur, or you're a housewife, you're a husband, whatever you're doing right now, you're carrying purpose, and you're a little bit discomfortable. You're uncomfortable, and you're feeling some discomfort, right? You're feeling some discomfort. You're agitated. You want to see this thing come to pass, and you're feeling like, right? But I'm telling you, something shifted, and something is shifting. And I just really want to encourage each person under the sound of my voice to hear me, that your water broke. Your water broke. You're not in the same place. You're not in that first trimester. You're not in that second trimester. You're at the place now where you're beginning to see that promise. It's right there. It's right there. You've worked it. You've been faithful. You've been trudging. You've been doing all that you know how to do. You've been building the vision. You've been doing everything that you know how to do. And now you can actually taste it. You can see it. You can feel it. You know it's right here. And so some of you are at that place of, okay, it's here. Where is it? I feel it. It got to manifest. Well, I'm here to tell you something did shift and your water did break. There is a time in pregnancy, and I'm with my second baby, Charisma, my second child. I had her very, very, very fast, and I was at home, and my husband and I were in the apartment, and I got into a hot tub of water, and that will let me know if I was really having some real contractions. Listen, if I got in that hot tub of water, that thing was going to happen. That thing was going to speed up. But if it was a false labor, then it would just calm down. It wasn't going to be a big deal. Well, I jumped into a hot tub of water, and my God, today I popped out of there so fast because now this baby was coming. These contractions were right there. It looked like I was about to pop open anyway, so it didn't matter to me. But I got in the car with my husband, and I said, listen, honey, I doubt if we make it to the hospital. I'm telling you, I'm about to have this baby. Make a long story short, we made it to the hospital. I was already just ripping my clothes off saying, you know what? I don't think I can even make it upstairs to the room. So let's just have this baby outside. He was like, no, honey, we can't do that. Got in the elevator. And I'm telling you, at that moment, I was already pulling my pants down. It was down because I knew something is about to happen. And some of you in your spirit, you know it. You know it. You're like, listen to me, Gwendolyn. I've been doing this. I've been working my ministry. I've been working my business. I've been raising my kids. We've been pushing towards vision and purpose in our marriage. And I'm telling you, this thing is about to break open because you feel it. You can taste it. You know it. You just know it. And that's where I was. I knew it. I said, listen, this baby is about to come. They was like, hold up. Don't wait. But listen, I couldn't hold up and I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait on the midwife to come. The midwife wasn't there. So she said, Gwen, get on the table. My husband tried to help me get on the table. Before I could even get on the table, I was standing up just right there in front of the table and boom, guess what? My water broke. That is a sure telltale sign. Listen, that is the telltale sign that you're about to give birth to promise, that you're about to give birth to purpose, that you're about to see that thing manifest. I'm telling you, listening to me, those who are listening to this episode, you're listening to this podcast, you tuned in at the right time. Your water broke and things are shifting. Something is about to come forth. Something is about to happen. Things are about to take place. Miracles are about to break open. This thing is shifting for you. It's not time for you to say, I can't do it. It's not time. It's just not the hour nor the season to say that. So when my water, listen, I already was in a mindset. This second go round, having this second baby and this water broke, I said, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to push. Guess what? I got on that table. My husband helped me push. The first push I pushed without having a midwife. It was just the nurse there and my husband. And I pushed without anybody's helping me to get that perineum open and to help with the head. I just started to push because I said, here's a contraction. By my second push, listen, the midwife came and that baby was out. 2 pushes. No more than that. I did tear. But what am I telling you? I am telling you there comes a time where you have been full of all of what God deposited in you. You have been feasting on the word. You have been taking all the tools that you know how to do to build wherever it is. If you were building your business, if you were building your ministry, if you're building your family, if you're speaking the word into your children and praying over your children, praying over your spouse, whatever it is, let me tell you, it comes a time that all of the seeds you were sowing have to now spring forth. It has to bear fruit. That thing has to break open. You have to begin to see the breaking and the dawning of a new day. What am I saying? I'm saying that many of you, under the sound of my voice, your water broke, and now you're in a push place. You're in a push place. You're in a push place. You're pushing it. You're pushing this promise forward. You're pushing this baby forward. You're pushing promise forward. And what happens sometimes in those times? Sometimes it's I'm talking from experience. You get tired. You get weary. You feel like, my God, I don't know. I know it's here, but I don't know. I'm here to tell you, listen, I'm going to speak to you from the word of God in Isaiah chapter 35, the entire chapter. I'm telling you, read it. It is so good. It's going to encourage your heart, because there is a place where Zion rejoices. And let me tell you, you will see the promise. And let me tell you, when your water breaks, if you do not push that promise out, that baby out, quickly, they say around 4 to 5 days after that water breaks, the risk of infection increases almost every 24 hours. So it's no way that baby can stay there. You now have to get this baby out because your water broke. You got to push this thing out because you don't want this promise to die. I want to encourage you not to give up. I want to encourage you not to give in. I want to encourage you to continue to look forward, to continue to move forward. That is what I'm saying today. And I want to read to you this passage from Isaiah 35. The amplified version. And listen, it is so good. It's talking about Zion's joyful future. This is a promise. And it said in verse 2, it will blossom abundantly. This is talking about the desert. The wilderness and the dry land will be glad. It will shout with exaltation and blossom like autumn crocus. Listen, it will blossom abundantly. It will rejoice with singing and with great joy. And the glory of Lebanon will be given to it. The majesty of Mount Carmel and the plain of Sharon. Listen, they will see the glory of God, the majesty and the splendor of God. Listen to verse 3. And I want to listen to me. These are the exact words in the Amplified. It said, encourage the exhausted. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm encouraging you if you're exhausted. It said, encourage the exhausted and make the staggering knees firm. So if you have been exhausted, if your knees have been staggering, it's time to be firm. Verse 4, say to those with the anxious and panic-stricken heart, be strong. Indeed, your God will come with vengeance for the ungodly, and the retribution of God will come, but he will save you. Do you hear me? What a powerful promise. God is wanting to encourage you if you're exhausted, if your knees have been staggering, he wants to make them firm. We are saying right now to those who've been anxious and you've been full of a panic-stricken heart, we're saying be strong. Don't be afraid right now, because God says, I'm going to come and I'm going to deal with your enemies, but also retribution of God will come. God is going to save you. He's going to help you, and he's coming for you. Do not feel alone. But here's a beautiful verse. The eyes of the blind will be open and the ears of the deaf will be unstopped. That speaks of the miraculous. Many of you have been believing God for miracles, signs, wonders, things to shift. It's time right now to see them. And the key verse is verse 6. The lame will leap like a deer, and the tongue of the mute will shout for joy, for waters will break forth in the wilderness and streams in the desert. It says the waters will break forth. Listen, if your waters have broken, it is the time to rejoice, because it's now you're going to begin to see streams where there were dry places, where you were walking in these hard places, where you were walking in these dark places, where you were walking in places that was barren and it was destitute and you were feeling overwhelmed. Listen, your water has broken. My God. And you're going to see the signs, the wonders, the miracles, the promises, everything that God has been speaking to you. It's time to apprehend them. It's not time to allow the exhaustion to take over, panic to take over, or anxiety. You got to tell anxiety to move back. You got to stand strong, and you have to speak to that exhaustion, and you have to say, I'm strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Why am I saying this? Because it's time. Isaiah 35 is a promise. Your water broke, and it's time for you to bring forth promise, bring forth that purpose, bring forth that dream, bring forth that business, bring forth that ministry, whatever it is that you are called to do. Many of you are called to even go out in the arts and entertainment. You're to write that book. You're supposed to design that house. You're supposed to go back to school to be that entrepreneur, that doctor. You're supposed to be that surgeon. You're supposed to be, listen, this amazing mom and dad, and to bring forth children in the earth. This is your season to arise and to shine, because it's not time, listen, to say, no, it's not going to happen. It's too late. You're there. You've already sown your seeds. You've already come through this place, and your water broke, and I'm telling you, it's time. And so Isaiah 35 is encouraging us today. It's encouraging us today. And I want you to meditate. Listen, meditate on verse 6. The lame is going to leap like the deer. That is powerful. And the tongue of the mute is going to shout for joy, for your waters will break forth in the wilderness today. Listen, the waters broke. Your water has broken. You will see this thing gush forth. And my goodness, every dry place, you're going to now drink, and you're going to see this water that's going to fulfill. And listen, it said, and the thirsty grounds, there will be springs of water. My goodness gracious. This is a great season for you. This is an amazing season for you. This last day of September is a time to rejoice. It was a birthing month, but I'm telling you, October is a time to behold a lot of manifestations of the promises of God. It's a time to apprehend and to even hold it and to embrace it. And even though it'll be in an infant stage, you nurture that thing, because it is something that has been long awaited for. You've awaited for the promise. You've stood for the promise, and now it is here. I'm telling you, my goodness, God is so good. So those of you who listen today to this podcast episode, I am here to tell you that your water broke, and you've been in a place where you've been a bit exhausted. I'm telling you, many of you have been like, what has been going on? But everybody experienced that. It is not uncommon. It is not a place where you can feel like, you know what, you're by yourself. Many people are pushing this thing forward. And I'm telling you today, you are an overcomer. You got this thing. You have some time. Listen, to get this thing out and to continue to push till it come out. You know why? Because if you don't, we don't want this thing to risk infection and bring harm. So this is why I'm encouraging you not to give up. So there's some loose ends you may need to tie up. There's maybe some publishing things, editing. You need to finish up writing. You need to finish up recording that song. You need to finish doing some things, right? Finish it up. Do it. Because as you do this thing, my God, you will see this thing come forth so strong, because it is really time. And it speaks about this in Isaiah 35. Be encouraged that you're going to see the miraculous. My God, as those waters burst forth, miracles are right after. Miracles, blessings are right next to come. Get excited. My God, I am excited for you, and I am excited what God is doing. I'm excited about what God is doing in your life, and all the promises of God are yes and amen. Thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. I'm asking that you would please subscribe on YouTube, on the Apple iTunes. And if you can rate it, if you can leave a comment, if you can share, my God, I would be so blessed if you can do that. Until next time, I'm your host, Gwendolyn Forte, with a voice in the darkness, signing off.